You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Ethan Haristodoulou.
Welcome back, everyone, to more of the Greeks Gridiron. I am Ethan Haristodoulou, and today the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock in my draft preview series. As we work our way to the NFL draft at the end of this month, we are going to go over three guys that I would like to see the Cowboys go after and target for this year's draft. So my Cowboys fans, make sure you comment down below. Let me know who you would be interested in seeing the Cowboys chase after for this year's draft. And also make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all my other draft previews here. We are a channel that talks every single NFL team. No team gets too little coverage. No team gets too much coverage. I like to talk everything that there is about the NFL and even some of those other lesser known leagues. I'm talking the USFL this year. We also might be covering the XFL when that kicks off next year as well. And maybe even the FCF. I don't know. They're a little too busy playing with NFTs for my liking, but we'll see. So, without further ado, let's get into the Dallas Cowboys, shall we? So, the Cowboys, 9 picks in total for this year's NFL draft. There's some needs on the line on both sides of the ball, I would say, and that's kind of how I'm going to focus in on this draft class. Like I said, there's 9 picks total. I'm only talking 3 guys, so I know there's obviously going to be other people they'll be targeting in areas and positions of need, but these are the 3 that I would like to see them go after specifically. And not in any real specific area of importance, but just kind of what makes sense for their draft position. Now, we'll start with day 3, we'll then go into day 2, and then I'll talk their first round selection and who I would like to see them go after there. And for the day 3 pick, we'll start with interior defensive lineman Jaden Peavy out of Texas A&M. This is a guy who has awesome size and length. He's 6'5", 308 pounds, a big dude you can use to plug up the middle there. He shines in the running game, stopping the run, stuffing up those lanes, does a really good job at basically filling his gap up and not allowing people to get through when he's playing. And he also shows a lot of versatility. From what I've read about him in scouting profiles, people think that he'll be successful whether he's playing in odd or even fronts, so you can really kind of move him around and play him where you need to over on the inside there. And something like that I think the Cowboys would really benefit from, because the interior of the defensive line, while it's not terrible, it's also not in the best state right now. Excuse me, they're somewhere in the middle. So I would like to see them go after someone to kind of plug up the middle there. Now, there are some cons to his game. He does have a tendency to miss tackles every now and again. His hand technique is definitely going to need some work. And he has very basic pass rushing moves. He's not as effective in the pass rush as he was in the run game. But those are things that he could definitely work on as a pro with some NFL coaching if he really takes to it. Especially the hand technique stuff. That kind of thing can be taught. It's not like you can teach size or teach strength and power. Like, those are things that, like, you either have it or you don't, or you're going to have to really grind in the weight room to get there and really focus on those things, I guess. But overall, solid day 3 guy. I think that he would fit in well with the roster there. And again, he's versatile. You can plug him into a couple of different areas so you can really figure out where he will help fill your needs best and in what situations he can work for you best. Now, for day number 2, we're going to stick to the defensive line, but we're going to work on the outside a little bit. And the reason for this, obviously, is with the loss of Randy Gregory signing that massive contract that he did initially sign with the Cowboys, but then dipped off and went to the Broncos there. I would like to see them go after a guy like edge rusher Cameron Thomas out of San Diego State. Now, I've seen some places say he would be good as a 3-4 defensive end, but I think that he could also play in a 4-3 type role as well. This is someone, again, who comes with versatility. And when I'm doing these draft previews here, I try to find guys that can fill multiple roles, especially in the later stages, because, you know, like when you're getting someone in the first round or the second round, you typically have a specific role you're carving out for that player that you know you want them to fill. Whereas like these later guys, where Cameron Thomas is probably going to be a 3rd rounder, potentially even a 4th rounder. So this is someone you might even be able to get later into day 3. But if he's there and you want to take him day 2 and jump the gun a little bit, he's versatile. He can play on the outside. He can play over the tackle. He's played in the A gap and in the B gap. Like, he has filled in every single spot. So there's a lot of places you can put him to actually get the work done. He had 12 sacks this past season, a 21.1% pass rush win rate, and you couple that with a 12.4% run stop rate, which is well above average in the college ranks. This is a guy who, again, can help fill out that defensive line, especially with that loss of Randy Gregory there. And his cons, really not too bad. I mean, he plays a little too upright, which is just a technique thing, and that's something you can coach out of him. He needs to work on his leg strength. Again, something you can work on in the weight room and build out of. And then he does get held up on double teams inside consistently from what I've read. And honestly, that is something that, again, when you build up leg strength, you figure out his leverage issues and him playing upright and maybe working on some technique things. That's also something you can potentially overcome as well. And even if that ends up being the one out of the three things that I just mentioned here that he can't really work on, again, he's a day 2 guy who might even potentially be a day 3 guy. I've just seen him projected at highest around day 2 in the 3rd round. Again, someone that I think would be an excellent person to at least start to fill the void left by Randy Gregory, who is obviously an excellent pass rusher and was paid as such. And I think Cameron Thomas, with the production he had this past season specifically, more so than anything else, he could definitely be a guy who can at least, stop the bleed and potentially even be a long-term answer down the road if he really progresses well, because he's shown he can be effective in that pass rush game and bring in those sack numbers. Again, 12 sacks last season. That's definitely a good number, and he's really good against the run, and you can never have too many good run defenders in this league. Now, for my day 1 selection, the big pick that everyone's talking about here for every single team, the Cowboys obviously as well, I'm sticking with the offensive line here. I am a big, you win football games in the trenches with both the defensive side and the offensive side. So I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, if this isn't a sexy enough pick for you guys, but I am one of those people that truly believes the games are won and lost in the trenches. And now, hear me out on this one, because I understand he does have penalty issues. He had 16 in 2021, and it was a litany of holding and false start and, ineligible player downfield penalties and 5 personal fouls. I mean, there's a lot, that needs to be fixed in that area, but offensive tackle Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. This is someone that I would like to see the Cowboys target potentially here, because I've seen him projected to not even go in the 1st round. I've also seen him go as high as around like the early 20s area. And I think that you obviously have Tyron Smith over there on the left side. Trevor Penning, you're probably going to kick out to the right side unless you can convince Smith to go back to playing to the right side, which I don't really know what the likelihood of that is. I mean, I know he played right tackle his rookie year, but I don't know what the likelihood is of him being willing to go over to the right side. He has been their premier left tackle for literally like 10 years now at this point, but he's an absolute mauler in the run game. And I think one thing with the Dallas Cowboys is that they have an excellent running back group, and the offensive line is not quite where it used to be. So you need to get back to that. That was when the Cowboys, that 13-3 season, Dak Prescott's rookie season, that's what we want to get back to. Absolutely crushing it in the ground game, so it opens things up for Prescott to be effective. He's no slouch in the pass game either. He had 2 sacks in the last 2 seasons, and he's very, very minimal pressures. This is a guy who is built to play offensive line and play it effectively, especially on the outside. He's praised for his excellent motor. He is a relentless guy. He does not give up on each and every play. This is someone you want to have on your team. Now, like I said, the 16 penalties, that's ugly. That's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And to be honest with you, I was kind of hesitant on picking this because the Cowboys, fairly undisciplined last year. They were very high. I can't remember if they led the league or not, but they were very high up on the boards when it came to penalties themselves. I'm hoping that's something that the Cowboys are self-aware of, and they're able to work on that this offseason leading into the year and figure out what the heck was going on with all these penalties that they were receiving. He's also a little bit slower with his lateral movement. I've seen that come up in multiple different scouting reports that I've read about him. And obviously the competition level is of a concern. He played for Northern Iowa. He wasn't facing SEC teams every other week or something like that. So those are things that are concerning. But ultimately, this guy, his build, his work ethic, everything about him, he's projected to go the 1st round for a lot of people for good reason. He is a prototype offensive tackle in this league. And again, you're not going to put him on the left side because you have Tyron Smith. He's probably going to get kicked out to the right side. I would like to see him on that side anyways. I think that would be a better place for him to go. But I mean, if the Cowboys feel his progression would go better playing on left, because that's where he was playing, and they believe that Tyron Smith, because quite honestly, if I was to pick one or the other to swap sides, it probably is Tyron Smith. I just don't know if he is willing to do that, because I feel like Tyron Smith can go to the right side and still be excellent. I don't know about Trevor Penning. So if it was my choice, I'd go Penning left, Tyron Smith right. Realistically speaking, I feel like it stays Smith left, and then Penning just has to fill in on the right side and figure it out over there. But I think he can do so as well. I just think it's a more sure bet to have Smith move to the right and have Penning over on the left side. But we'll have to see what the Cowboys do should they manage to make this selection there in the first round. But that is my draft preview for the Dallas Cowboys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, my Cowboys fans. I appreciate you all for watching. Again, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.